Andrew, why did you follow me into the men's restroom?
I just wanted to stay consistent.
I know today's show is about being consistent, but it doesn't mean you need to consistently be omnipresent. We're just going to be interviewing the Window Ninjas guy. I'm trying to get, use the restroom while listening to...
Hey, I am just trying to be more detailed, focused,
Sure,
and consistent.
I appreciate that, but I'm trying to use the restroom. If you could just give me my personal space,
Okay.
That's all I need. I want to get myself prepared for today's show.
Absolutely. Is that a new watch?
Yeah. I appreciate you noticing. Whoa.
Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Cutting Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C and Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here.
Yes, and yes. Thrive Nation, it's a very special occasion. Andrew, it is always profound when you are above the ground and I'm above the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And turns out we're not dead right now. We're
not dead. We're not.
And because you and I are big fans of facts and not big fans of fear, my fear of even being dead is very low.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I mean, I'm feeling good about it. And we have another thriver here on the show today who, despite the COVID chaos happening all around him, he's chosen to focus on what he can control. Andrew, think about the profundity of that idea. If you focus on what you can control, not focusing on what you cannot control, this is amazing. Despite a COVID-19 chaos economy, your client is growing.
Yeah, he's killing it. They're doing what they can do, making it happen. He's doing great with his team, hiring a lot of really, really good people. And then the thing he's doing really, really great at is training those people. So he's got his training times down. He's getting them, working out in the field and the call center so much faster than before. And he's doing really, really good at sales training. So he's killing it.
Gabe, welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Hello, Clay. I am doing great. Andrew, good to talk to you again as well.
You too, man.
Now, you tell the listeners out there, Gabe, what do you do for a living? What's the name of your company?
My company is called Window Ninjas, and we are a window cleaning company that provides residential and commercial window, gutter, and pressure cleaning services.
How long have you been doing this?
I have been actually doing this service for a little over 20 years now, almost 30, time flies. But I have owned Window Ninjas and operated Window Ninjas for right at 3.5 years now.
Did you have a passion for clean windows and glass, or why did you choose this industry?
Well, I wouldn't say I had a passion for it. It was just something that I kind of fell into. It's one of those careers that you just navigate the waters and it falls in your lap, and next thing you know, you spend 20 years doing it. And then I woke up one day and I figured out I needed to do this on my own. So that's what happened. But yeah, glass always makes me happy. Every day's a holiday when I'm making windows shine.
When did you have the idea to call the company Window Ninjas? When did you have that idea?
Probably about, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks before we decided to launch our company. Me and my wife were just driving down the highway. We're trying to come up with names. We're going to a lacrosse tournament. We had our son in the truck, and we're trying to figure this out. And we were just passing ideas off of each other. So right around about 2 weeks before the launch, we were like, let's do this, and got our website up and running and had everything going, and off we went.
What are some of the names that you decided not to go with? Do you remember any of the names that were close, like some finalists where you said, you know what, we're not going to call it Fish Slapping Window Cleaning Service, We're not going to call it
Would have been good.
Beautiful Babies Window Cleaning Service. We're not going to call it
Babies Cleaning Windows.
Yeah, we're not going to call. Do you have any names that kind of were on finalists? Where you were thinking about naming it, or something, and you decided not to?
I can't think of any off the top of my head. I wish I could. I know I had some in there somewhere, but we're just coming back to that Ninjas, man. That little ninja dude. He just, you know what? All I could think in my head was I wanted somebody that resembled me, a happy guy, big smile, and a squeegee in my hand. That's what I wanted. And when you look at our logo, you might say, hey, that looks like Gabe.
I feel like a lot of folks, Andrew, maybe I'm incorrect, maybe I'm exaggerating, but I feel like if I think about the small businesses that I've met over the years, there's like a natural desire from a business owner to name their company something like this. Like I think this is what happens. As a business owner sits down, they say, well, I got to name my company. And then we start to get into our primal man. Not to get super spiritual, but you start to tap into your like your monkey mind. And you start to say, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to name it Clark Windows LLC.
LLC.
Yeah, I'll put a comma, Clark Windows LLC. There it is. And I feel like that's kind of a thing. I don't know what that is. Gabe, can you speak to that? Why are we having I see there's a lot of roofing companies that are out there that are, well, it's since my name is Bob and I do roofing, I'm going to call it Bob's Roofing LLC. Why do you see a lot of small business owners rejecting branding? What is going on?
I don't know if it's egotistical that they just got to have their own name on everything, or they're the ones that are just going to always be doing the work. It's one of those two. It's got to fall somewhere in there.
Yeah, Andrew, I don't know what it is. I think we all have and I started my first DJ company. And again, if you're a doctor, you're a dentist, maybe you have to. I get it. I'm just saying there's something out there. Andrew, you've seen these moving trucks, these work trucks?
Yes.
That are Carl's Moving. I mean, it's just there's no like brand to it. I mean, so Window Ninjas, how many locations do you have now?
We have 11 locations in 4 states.
And your website looks gorgeous. You guys, the logo looks great. These are all things you built previous to running into us. For the listeners out there that haven't heard you on the show before, again, how did you first hear about us?
I heard about you from a friend of mine who'd been actively listening to you guys, and he just sent it over to me one day and said, man, you got to listen to this. And it was funny, it was informative, and it was motivating. And I just kept listening. I'd listen to another one, I'd listen to another one. I'd be out walking or running or doing something, I'd be listening to another one, man. And finally one day I was like, God, I got to call these guys. He's crazy, but I like him. I definitely want to be part of that. Well, I reached out to you.
Yeah, and then since that time, I mean, you guys have been growing. I mean, I think you're up 20. Are you up 25% so far since we met you about a year ago?
Yeah, solid 25. Some locations are up more than that.
Yeah.
But across the board on average, yeah, right around 25%.
And pre-COVID, what was our growth rate at that point? But right before we ran into the COVID shutdown, because it turns out, Andrew, my theory is correct. When your business is forced to shut down, it's probably not open.
Oh, wow.
It's profound. Yeah. So what percentage growth were you having before the shutdowns?
Before the shutdown, which was January and February, we went into last year. We were up a little over 10% last year for the entire year, and we had only been utilizing your services for about 6 months. We went into January, and we came out of January with 25% increase. Then we went into February, and mind you, in our business, January and February are 2 slowest months of the year. Those are winter months. They're cold. Not a whole lot of people get pressure washing services done. We're doing a lot of gutter cleaning, but there's not a whole lot going on. But we came out of January 25% up, and then we came out of February with another 25% up. So we were on track to really hit a solid 25, if not more. And our goal this year was to get 50% growth.
Got it.
So going into our slow months, 25%, man, we're going to take that all day long, because we knew if we were doing those numbers, we were definitely going to be on track for our goals. And then we hit March, which was right around COVID time when it hit about mid-month, and we were tracking up, and then we came to not a complete stop, but we definitely saw a drop-off.
Well, what I'm going to do on today's show, and hopefully this is helpful for the listeners out there. Hopefully the listeners say, oh, that's what I needed. I'm going to talk about 3 keys to sales training mastery that nobody wants to hear about. Nobody, Andrew, wants to hear these 3 tips, and I'll tell you why. Because it's going to involve the word discipline. And people hate the word discipline. But I'm using Gabe as an example of what to do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to contrast this with entrepreneurs that don't do this. Okay, so here we go.
Let's do it.
1, The Ultimate Sales Machine. It's a red-covered book by Chet Holmes. Everybody needs to buy the book. The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes. Everybody needs to buy the book. I don't want to buy the book. You need to buy the book. I don't have time to read the book. You got to buy the book. I don't do books. Get the book. Read the book. The Ultimate Sales Machine. Get the audio book. Get the book. He says, any area of achievement in your life required you to stick with the basics until you became great. Becoming a master of karate, he was a karate guy, he was a business coach who was great at karate. But he says, becoming a master of karate was not about learning 4,000 moves, but about doing just a handful of moves 4,000 times. Gabe, you have really, really implemented consistent sales training. You go over the same stuff every week. I'm sure at certain points you've thought your brain is going to explode as you've gone over the same thing. You have a great team, but, I had to take algebra 3 times to get it. So some people have to hear something 3 times, 45 times, whatever. Talk to me about your mindset for consistency, because you really are a good role model of consistency.
Consistency is pretty easy for me. I know it's difficult for a lot of
sick.
people, but a lot of people are running around with their like just crazy people. They just like chaos. But me, I like getting up at the same time in the morning. I like getting to work. I like doing the simple, repetitive tasks. And even with my sales training, I mean, we come in every single day and we have a daily huddle. We go over certain, the same things, the rapport, the needs, the benefits, call to action. We do that with every one of our customers. We do that with every one of our sales staff. We hold them accountable for everything that they're supposed to do.
Tell me this story.
Day.
Tell me more about this story. You're saying you like to wake up at the same time every day?
Oh, every day.
This is a great story. I love it. Andrew, I love this story.
This is a great story.
Continue.
It's a
So you're
novel.
telling, you go over rapport, needs, benefits, close. You go over the sales script with your people every week?
Every single day.
Every day?
And then they go over it every day on every phone call?
Every day. Every phone call.
I feel like he's saying
Every
day.
phone call.
And
Like
you play, you record the calls?
Oh, yeah. Clarity voice. It's great.
Andrew, he's talking about doing it every day.
Every day.
Andrew, you've been coaching clients for a long time. A lot of great people.
A lot of great people, yeah.
Certain people reach out, not a good person. I think this week
True.
in our meeting we had, Julia said we had over 100 people reach out
Mhm.
this week for one-on-one.
144.
144 people reached out for one-on-one consulting this week.
It's a lot.
We only have 160 spots, and we're already booked out. We usually have like one opening a month or so. What's the hard part for a lot of people about being consistent? I mean, they say, well, what program should I use? ClarityVoice.com to record your calls. They say, great, I got that set up. Boom. What script should I use? You give them the script. Boom. They say, okay, I got a script. Boom. I got my recorded calls. Boom. A lot of booms. A lot of booms. A lot of booms.
Holy cow!
What's the hard part about being consistent like Gabe here? Because Gabe is a role model. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, because a lot of times people want a new thing, a new program, a new shiny toy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everyone likes to have a new thing. They're trained to buy the new car, to buy the new thing, to get a new wife, a new house, a new home, a new car.
Wife, new girlfriend.
So
new degree.
It's something that people aren't trained to like. It's the same thing as rejection. People aren't trained to enjoy rejection, but that's what's needed for success. It's the same thing with consistency. Is you have to kind of train your mind that doing the same stupid repetitive task every single day.
I love doing the
leads
stupid
to consistency instead of a bunch of new things every single day that's shiny and bright and fun. It's the same stupid repetitive task.
One thing that sucks right now about being in the media a lot, as I'm talking about opening our country.
Yeah.
I keep getting asked to be on the media. And Gabe, did you hear my Newsmax interview? Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah, I heard it.
Okay, I was going to say, I'm on Newsmax, and I am not an expert in deregulation.
Yeah.
I was invited by our president to attend, which it was an honor. So I had my man book, and I'm feverishly taking notes. Jay, you're a doctor, so you had to go to school and take notes.
Yep.
Imagine that you were told you're going to be on Newsmax tomorrow to brief America
I start sweating now.
on what the president is going to tell you today.
Yeah, that's a lot to
I
take
was
in.
going, I don't want to misquote, misrepresent. I don't want to oversell. I don't want to undersell. I just have to take a lot of notes. But then I have to distill those notes into memorable thoughts. There's a lot of stress there. That, to me, is much more stressful than managing our sales team. Because our sales team, we just do the same thing over and over. But I think a lot of people, entrepreneurs, are kind of crazy like that. They kind of like being on the news, talking about a subject they just learned about. I think some people like that. I don't know what that is.
Physics.
It's a rush.
Let's go about physics right now. Physics.
I do not like that stuff. So again, this is action item number 1. The 3 keys to sales training mastery. 1, master the basic moves, folks. Master the moves. All right. Install clarityvoice.com. Build a script. Role play, role play, role play, and then listen to your calls. Now, super move number 2, Chet Holmes writes, no one gets good at anything without repetition. Karate requires tremendous discipline. You're just repeating moves over and over. This is true of tennis, golf, and any other sport. Practice, practice, practice. And then when you've begun to master your moves so that you know what to do automatically, it gets exciting. But pig-headed discipline comes first. So
good.
Move number 2 here. Move number 1 is master the basic moves. Move number 2, though, is repeat until you can't get it wrong. Repeat until you can't get it wrong. Gabe, talk to me about this, man. I mean, you got I've heard some of your team's calls. They're sounding good now. I mean, your team is really going to the next level. And I know your team probably doesn't hear this from a lot of other podcasts, but objectively, your team's now moving into what I would call the top 10% zone, where it's like you clearly stand out from the competition because you're getting very good. How have you been able to keep yourself motivated to repeat it and to train until your team cannot get it wrong?
Well, I just see all the big wins that we're having. When they do it right and they're hitting the ball out of the park, I mean, it's amazing. So you're looking for that every single day, every single call. And when you see a call that's bad or you hear one that's funky and they're not following a script, man, it just motivates you to grab that person because you know they can do better and say, hey, get back in here. 10,000 hours to become a master of something. So you need to start right now, get back on board, get back on the script, and get it done. And you just coach them and motivate them. I mean, it's just like watching game film. You talk about it all the time. Listen to those calls, coach, coach, coach. Listen to those calls, coach, coach, coach.
There it is.
Not that hard. Pretty simple.
Jay,
you see the same move.
You saw our group meeting today, our all staff meeting.
Yep.
It's probably, I don't know, 75 employees there,
Yeah,
or whatever.
that's
Every week, Andrew, I start off the meeting. I say, folks, what good news, what good things happened
Good things.
this
Wins.
weekend?
Wins of the week.
It is like you're pulling teeth
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
for positivity because it's Monday.
We're alive.
And some people, we have a great team, but some people are like, oh,
I had coffee this morning.
I just, oof.
yeah.
Good.
Now, if you were to ask what gossipy negative things do we have, people would have a lot. And we have a great team, but I got to kind of, focus on some positive stuff.
Yeah.
Get the team excited every week. Every week, Andrew, tell the listeners my agenda just from memory, and I'm not going to, you're not being quizzed where if you get it wrong, you're in trouble. I'm just saying, can you share the agenda for our Monday meeting every week?
Yeah, so in the Monday meeting, we always start off with good wins, any good things that are happening in the employees' lives. Clay always shares a good win that he's had, like in the company or in his life or what's going on. So he went out to D.C. We talked about that a bit. Then next up, a lot of times we'll have like an employee of the week or someone of the week who's doing a really great job, whether it's an Elephant or in Thrive. Then next up, we go over the numbers. So we make sure we hit all of the everyone's key performance indicators. Are we all hitting deadlines? Are we hitting our sales percentages? Are we getting the amount of reviews that we're supposed to get? Are we getting the video testimonials? So we go over all of that. And then a lot of times Clay will have like a teaching moment where he talks about, something that the team
practical
needs to
principle
hear.
they can apply.
Right. And it's actionable.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, here's the principle. Here's how we can act on it and, take action on this specific
Then we
thing.
go over the numbers.
Yep.
And then we role play. And it's the same every week.
Every single week.
And sometimes I start to wonder, Andrew, this week, should we cancel the meeting just to see what happens? No,
Switch it
I
up a
don't
bit.
ever have that thought.
Yeah.
But because we have to become a disciple of discipline. You've got to model the behavior. You cannot be an inconsistent leader. All right, so this is what Chet Holmes has to say about being a disciple of discipline. In his book, The Ultimate Sales Machine, he writes, the missing ingredient for nearly all of the 1,000-plus clients that I have worked with directly to improve their businesses is pig-headed discipline and determination. We all get good ideas at seminars and from books, radio talk shows, and business-building gurus. The problem is that most companies do not know how to identify and adapt the best ideas to their businesses. Implementation, not ideas, is the real key, is the key to real success. Gabe, final thoughts from you. Discipline, being on time, being disciplined, being accurate, starting meetings on time, showing up on time for client interactions, charging people the proper amount. No one's perfect, but the idea of being a disciplined person, how important is that to the success of Window Ninjas?
Oh, it's of major importance for the success of Window Ninjas. The more disciplined we are, the more our team follows our scripts. We follow all of our processes, all the protocols, all the things that are expected of all of our employees to do every single day. By following all those things and being disciplined enough to do all of those things every day, then we have better success. We generate more income. Accidents from a service perspective go away. Calls that are just bad or not selling a job, that goes away. But it takes a lot of discipline, and it takes a lot of training, and it takes a lot of one-on-one coaching to be able to do that with your staff. And if you're doing it on a regular basis, it's really not that hard. You just continue to reiterate the same things over and over and over again. We've got these same repeatable, stupid little tasks that we do over and over and over and over again. We just don't stop, and we just keep on thriving and keep on rolling through it, and we create success. But it does take a lot of discipline. It's super important.
What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to queue up my interview on one of my interviews on Newsmax. Now, I want to explain this to the listeners out there. Whenever you're on TV, all right, you're on TV, what's going to happen is you are going to I'll do my interview on CNN. What happens is they're going to ask you questions, and you don't know how long you have to answer the questions. So you have to write out your answers, and you want to write out, if they have 2 questions for you, you have to do what's called a rude interview, where you have to think of what are the most mean, ridiculous things they could ask me. How could they trap me and make me look stupid? You have to have that conversation. This is my interview on CNN, but I had to take the time to write out all the possible responses, and here we go. Let me cue it up here. Let me get back into it.
Businesses were allowed to reopen Friday, including hair and nail salons and pet grooming.
This is CNN's Anna Corin. Here we go.
Services. On May 1st, churches, gyms, theatres and restaurants can open. Well, Clay Clark is co-founder and CEO of the Elephant in the Room Salon in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he joins us now. Clay, great to have you with us. You are a supporter of your state reopening, is that right?
That is correct.
Tell me, why? What is the urgency?
Well, initially, when Neil Ferguson, the director of the Abdul Latif Jameel Institute, predicted 2.2 million American deaths, that was a very scary number. And then Dr. Deborah Birx then reported that 88,000 predicted deaths were to occur, which is still not a good number, but less or about the same as the number of deaths from the flu in 2017, 2018. And although every life matters, I don't believe fundamentally in hiding from the virus until every American business is killed from the coronavirus.
So, Clay, you are a business owner, is that correct?
Yes, yeah, since the age of 16.
Okay, so
this is my 23rd year, yeah.
And so you have employees. How do your employees feel about going back to work?
I would say about 85% of them walk with full faith and excitement about the opportunity to serve our customers. And I would say objectively about 15% of them are very afraid of the coronavirus and do not want to return to work.
Okay. So, I mean, it's obviously not out of greed that these people want to go back to work, but out of necessity. People need a paycheck. People need to pay their rent. They need to pay their mortgages. They need to pay for their food bills. But what happens if small business owners like yourself, what happens if your employees, what happens if they get sick?
Well, right now, if you look at the data coming out of the CDC as it relates to Italy and New York, somewhere between 94 and 99.2% of all the deaths related to the coronavirus involve elderly people with an already compromised immune system. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here comes the curveball. So we have a younger employee base, people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, and our customers fit that same demographic. So I think if we have elderly people with compromised immune systems, I would encourage them not to come in and get a haircut. And I'd encourage our employees and customers to not go to the nursing home after getting a haircut to fellowship with people who have compromised immune systems and who are elderly. But I really don't think that's going to, people getting a haircut is going to affect, bottom line, the demographic of people being most at risk of this pandemic.
Well, Clay, it is not just the elderly.
Oh, here we go. This is that objective reporting you got to be ready for.
With pre-existing conditions who are getting sick. It is also younger people who are getting sick. So we hope that your employees, that they
I believe
stay
that
well.
that perspective, but I believe statistically.
Now
my mic's being cut out. Here we go.
Do this safely and follow the guidelines of the U.S. health professionals like Dr. Anthony Fauci. But Clay Clark, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
So, again, I have to know that that's how it's going to end on CNN. because that's what the Communist News Network does. The Communist News Network, that's what they do. And you have to know in your call center that customers are going to ask certain questions, right? And you have to prepare your team for those questions. It would just be insanity to not prepare for the questions. And that's why you're doing so well. And Gabe, I appreciate you for taking the time to prepare and to diligently implement and for being a really good example of what to do. What is your website right now for the listeners who want to go look you up and find out more about Window Ninjas?
My website is www.windowninjas.com.
Windowninjas.com. And what cities are you in?
North Carolina, we were in Wilmington, North Carolina, Raleigh, Durham, and Greenville, North Carolina. And in South Carolina, we are in Charleston, Myrtle Beach, Columbia, and there's a Greenville, South Carolina as well. Nashville, Tennessee, Virginia Beach up in Virginia, as well as Richmond and Williamsburg, Virginia as well.
Gabe, I appreciate you for being on the show, my friend. You are a diligent doer, a goal pursuer, and the people out there need to look you up. You are a model of consistency, always trying to improve your team. And folks, again, don't just be a hearer of these words. Implement these things. There's 3 keys to sales training mastery. 1, master the basic moves. 2, repeat it until you can't get it wrong. And 3, become a disciple of discipline. Andrew, each and every week, we find ourselves, surrounded by wins. A lot of great clients from coast to coast who are implementing what they're learning.
Yeah, a lot of great wins.
And occasionally you have a client who implements the things we're teaching them with a sense of urgency that is so profound, it makes us kind of call a timeout and to celebrate yet another edition of
Wins of the Week!
Doing the bull dance, feeling the flow, working.
Oh, Andrew, I could not be more excited about today's show. Tell us the guest we have on today's show. Tell us who we have on today's show.
Yes, so today we have the wonderful Kim McKenna. So she is out in Campbellsville, Kentucky. She's got a medical clinic, and they are absolutely killing it. So they've been doing a really, really great job. They've been with us for a little while now. They're implementing a ton of stuff, including reviews, testimonials, hiring systems, sales. Like, it's insane the amount of stuff that they've implemented, and they're just killing it. They're crushing it.
Kim, welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you?
I'm great, wonderful, and terrific.
I might want to hang up right there. I got that positivity. It's overwhelming. It's awesome. It's great. So, Kim, you are having a lot of success. If the listeners out there want to visit your website, what is your website?
OneCrossHealth.com.
OneCrossHealth.com. And how long have you been in business?
It was 5 years in January.
How did you first hear about us?
My pastor.
Really?
Thank goodness. I called him for advice because I was looking to join another mastermind group to kind of help with business because I was struggling greatly. And I just, on the way from seeing and visiting one of those and just didn't feel right. I had been a part of another mastermind group and I was part of EMIS at the time and looking for whatever solutions that I could find because my business was crumbling big time. And he suggested I call you all. And he said he never thought that paying for friends was a great idea. And he said it all depended on the coach. And so I'd been looking for a long time. I knew I needed help. I didn't get a business degree. I knew health, but my business was crashing and burning, and we were thinking we were going to have to close the doors. So, and here we are. It's great. Our doors are open. When I started, so at January 1, we were $250,000 in debt. We were wondering whether we were going to keep the doors open or not.
Yeah.
7 months later, our revenue is up $60,000 per month.
Praise the Lord.
We have gotten rid of about $150,000 worth of debt so
Praise
far.
the Lord.
And it's looking great.
And I want the listeners to understand this idea. And maybe it sounds a little woo-woo, but I want to make sure you get this. Somebody out there listening is saying this to themselves right now, Kim, and I'm sure you can relate. I know I could relate to this as a young guy. You kind of go, well, that's a cool story. I love that this guest is having success. But as for me, I can't have the success because of I don't know enough. Maybe now's not the right time. Maybe I'm so far in debt. What's the point? We start to have these self-defeating ideas, which I don't think are of God. I mean, and I think they are bad. That's why I say praise the Lord. I mean, I feel like I'm sort of a vessel who's been taught certain skills, and I'm just sharing those with people like you and helping you implement it. But could you speak to the woman listening or the man listening that feels like success is not for them?
Oh, gracious. I thought that myself. I thought I was just too stupid and too dumb to figure it out. But you just need, I guess, the right guide and the right steps and the right motivation, or guess somebody to kind of help just push you along. And this is step by step how to do it, and this is what you need to do. And also somebody just to bounce ideas off of. And, hey, this is the suggested route I would go by. You can do it.
Yep.
I can't believe what we're seeing, and I'm so thankful and grateful. But I wouldn't have dreamed we would be this far 7-8 months ago.
And what's your website one more time for people that want to look you up?
OneCrossHealth.com.
So Andrew, let's share the truth about let's share the truth from this booth about the things that Kim is doing that's really growing the business. One, you said, Andrew, she's getting 6 testimonials per week.
At least. Sometimes the team brings in upwards of 20 every single week.
Every week.
It's insane.
So you're getting testimonials from happy patients.
Real people.
Every week.
Every week.
A lot of people say, I know I need to do that. It's a little bit harder because I'm a doctor or a dentist or a whatever. Kim, how are you able to get those video testimonials?
It took us a little while to get started.
Yep.
It was kind of like I was real ambivalent. How do I get myself on board? How would I get my staff on board? Once I was on board, how do I get my staff on board? But, we kind of had some guidance. Hey, just give them the staff, a couple of dollars or some kind of incentive. And so it happened. So finally the staff got on board, and we started, really getting into, who's getting more in a competition, and just a high-fiving everybody who's getting more reviews. And the patients love it because they are so grateful. We really do a good job. We really try really hard to be and give excellent service, and they feel like that's a way that they can give back. So they've been so thrilled to do these testimonies. And so when we finally got the ball rolling, it just kept going.
So, again, the 6 testimonials per week, that's a powerful thing. That's a mega point. That is awesome. Second, you put in the new hiring process, Yeah. Talk to me about that. Well, what's the new process you put in?
We're doing interviews every week. So before then, we were just really getting poor candidates to come and apply for jobs. It was very frustrating. It was taking a lot of time to do that, seeing people individually. When somebody would leave, we would then be desperate for help, and we would have to grab the first one that came along. And so now we're interviewing great candidates. They're coming every week, so we have a list of cream of the crop people. And so when we, lose an employee, we can replace them, or an employee that's functioning poorly, we have great candidates to choose from. And that's been a breath of fresh air and phenomenal.
Now, talk to me about these. We'll go back to these testimonials for a second. Do new patients, new customers, new patients, do they comment on having read the reviews or seen the reviews?
Mm-hmm. All the time. We never had any traffic to our website before. Yep. We do Facebook, we do newspaper ads, but we never had any traffic to our website, and we were getting tons of traffic. And they're always saying, "Oh yeah, I looked you up on Google. Oh, I saw your, this person I knew did a review, and I know they're great people, and they wouldn't, just." Blow fluff. So we knew that this was a great place to come to. So we've had a lot like that.
I really, really do want to stress this. I've got a lot of cosmetic surgeons I've helped, spine surgeons, doctors, a lot of people in the medical profession, a lot of home builders. Where Dr. J, you're here. You're a chiropractor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen somebody come into your office after going to a bad chiropractor?
Oh man, those stories are out there.
Sure, so you've seen this.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
you go to a
Last
bed.
week.
You go to a last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone's hobbling in there.
Yeah,
You know,
it's bad.
yeah, and I've seen it where this is fun. It's kind of a funny story. I coach. I work with a basketball coaching program, and one time I was there at the gym watching kind of mystery shopping his business just to give him feedback, and I noticed that one kid shot the ball in a bizarre fashion. I mean, just weird. And I talked to the dad, and I'm like, I'm not mocking a kid. I'm just going, hey, which kid's yours? That kind of thing. And this dad goes, the one who shoots the ball like that, that's my guy. And I'm like, so has he been going to score basketball for a long time? He goes, no, that's why we're here.
Good thing.
So I guess he had, a parent that had volunteered, to try to help coach the team, not knowing a lot about basketball. But, I'm not trying to belittle the parent. They were trying to, help out and coach the basketball team because they needed some parent to step up. And some parent that didn't know what they were doing thought they would teach basketball to the kids and was teaching all these kids, just poor form. And so people go on scoreball.com and they look at all the testimonials and they see how many players have gone on to play in the NBA from Score Basketball. How many players have got Division I scholarships? And you see those testimonials. It's powerful. I mean, you see Coach Eddie Sutton, the Hall of Fame basketball coach, telling you to take your kids there. It's powerful. Now, also, Kim, you have focused on getting the most reviews. And a lot of people get stuck on going, well, do I need a lot of reviews or good reviews? Quality. Do I need good reviews or a lot of reviews? Do I need reviews that are, you get a lot of the, well, do I need reviews that are good or big or small? And people get hung up on that. I mean, some people are just going to leave you a 5-star. Some people are going to leave you a 1-star. But you got to ask for those objective reviews. Let's talk about it. How has having the most reviews impacted you?
It's been great, yeah, and people look for that. So our competitor has about 79, and we are getting close to 300.
That's
so I think that totally speaks volumes when you have that many people giving a positive review or getting reviews, and most of them are positive. So it's been great. And if you get one negative, when you have 100 more positive, it drowns that one out. So it's been great.
Now let's talk about this. New patients. How much have you actually grown? Are you up by 1%, 2%? What's the number?
No, our new patient volume, we're tracking that per week. So typically we would run to about 5 to 7 on a good week new patients. We're getting about 30 new patients per week now.
30
So
per week.
good.
Wow. And
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's
And
great.
that's average. There's some weeks that, it's 35, so some weeks a little bit lower, but on average it's 30. So like I said, some weeks are greater than that. And that's during the summer months. Typically our business goes down in the summer months, and that was through COVID. And so we watched a lot of clinics around us close. And so our patients' numbers were going up while others were going down.
Wow. Now, your average revenue's up, what, 25%, 10%? What's your average revenue up?
Let's see. We were bringing about 70 to 80,000, more around the 70 mark, and this last month we were up to 140.
Oh, this is so good.
Oh.
Andrew,
So good.
Andrew, this show is what I needed.
That's a great show.
This is a great show. Now, Andrew,
Yeah.
you said that Kim had some questions for me,
Yeah,
and I'm going to let you read the questions.
absolutely.
As I cue up my deep thought music. Let me cue it up here.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, here we go. Go for it. Here we go.
So, question number 1 says, how do I transition from being a technician in the business to being an entrepreneur without going broke? So, I'm the biggest revenue producer in the clinic currently.
All right. Kim, is this you asking this question?
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. J, you're shadowing me today.
Yeah.
What time did you arrive to the building?
5:30.
And I showed you my printed out to-do list ready to go.
Epic.
We started at 6,
Yes, we
and
did.
here we are. So what you have to do, Kim, is you're going to have to get about 2 hours a day of more time to work on the business.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe an hour a day, hour to 2 a day. Okay, but it's like a 7-day-a-week deal. You take off the Sabbath day. So I'm just saying, don't get too hung. Like 6 hours a week, I'm needing maybe 8, maybe 9. But you've got to, it's like that checklist that's almost perfect. You know what I mean? The checklist is almost perfect, but it still needs some tweaks. And that call script is almost good, but it needs some tweaks. You're so close, and you just got to block it out. And I gotta, it's terrible.
Can I add something?
Yeah,
real
go
quick?
for it.
So, Kim, I have 2 clinics, and I was involved in pretty much everything. And through Clay and the system, like, I'm there 2 days a week for the most part, seeing patients, and they're always open. Like, they're open right now, I'm not there. And it's just systems, repeat them. And then training.
Just keep going.
Yeah, and this is why I am so negative. I don't have negative. That's why I'm so like blunt about my desire to not team up with people in business deals. Because people are always like, "Oh,
Right.
Clay, we should team up," and we could make more money. And I'm going, it's because you now know our system, right? You know our system.
Yeah.
And not all of it, but you're doing. I've looked at your progress report. I looked at the agenda. You're probably 1/15th through the system, and you're already having big wins.
Mm-hmm.
But once we refine it, a lot of doctors aren't going to know how to do what you're doing. So then you could, if you wanted to, you could take your Fridays yourself and cold call other doctors, okay? And you could say, boop, 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 boop. Hey, doctor. And they go, what? Hey, I'm actually a doctor, and my business has grown by this percentage. And I've got all the systems, and you could license my system for a certain percentage of the revenue, and we'll coach you down the path. That's essentially how you can scale it out. I've teamed up with a lot of people to help them do that, and that's a totally doable thing. But you have to know the system and do the system first. That's one way to scale. Another way to scale, that's called licensing. Another way to scale would be to hire a really quality manager. But the problem with a really quality manager is they need to get paid. And they need to be paid, well. And so you want to put in a merit-based pay program where their pay is really terrible if they don't do a good job. So as an example, you would say, I'm making up a number, but you'd say your base pay is $500 a week. I'm making it up. But every week that we bring in 20,000 or more, these are just ideas. Once you bring in 20,000 or more, every week you do that, your pay goes up to 1,000. So you get 500 a week, but every week we hit 20, you go up to 1,000. It's a weekly thing. And part of that is you have to get at least 10 Google reviews. I'm making it up, but 10 Google reviews, 5 video reviews, and 20,000 of sales. Or something like that. Well, all of a sudden, they're chasing that weekly carrot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's where it gets funny. Week 3, they're fired up, this new manager. And they go, I did 19,972 big ones. 19,972 big ones. I'm pretty excited about my bonus this week. I need it because I'm going to the lake. And you go, nope. And they go, what do you mean, nope? I'm only $28 off. You go, hey, buddy, we're not playing with hand grenades. And they go, well, I didn't get any Google reviews this week because I was busy. Next
Selling
week,
stuff.
they go, I got 21,000 of sales. But I didn't get any Google reviews. No. But I did get the sales. What matters more, quality or quantity, sales or reviews? And they start doing that, and you go, listen here, Bernie Sanders. Listen here, double speaker. Listen here, sleepy Joe Biden. Listen here, you know what I mean? People who are morally relative. Listen here, Mr. Unable to pin down. Listen here, Mr. Speaks out of both sides of your mouth. Listen here, Mrs. Excuse a lot. Listen here, Mr. I did my best. You have to either you pass or you fail. And then it becomes tough because I don't care if somebody feels bad for failing to hit the results. And Jay, you saw my staff meetings today.
Yep.
I'm pretty direct on stuff. I mean,
Very direct.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people shout at me and they go, I cannot believe you just said those words. But I say it all the time, so to me it's not weird.
Mm-hmm.
But we have one situation where we have a member of our team who's going on Facebook right now for one of my companies and is just ripping me for putting her life at risk for being in business.
You must be making her come to work. Like
young lady.
Driving her.
Young lady, if I can tell, good health.
Young.
And just
good
smashing me on social media.
It's your fault.
For being open. But she's calling me simultaneously this past month, begging me to not shut down the store.
Asking for some money.
And I'm like, I don't understand that. Maybe she wants to bash me online so it looks cool to her friends, and then maybe beg me privately to stay open because she needs it. I don't understand that. So the conversation I told your wife to have with said person, Andrew, because Andrew's wife manages the stores, does a great job, by the way. I said, just tell her if she doesn't want to work here, then she can go work somewhere else. It's cool. Jay, you saw me have that conversation.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great conversation to have.
And if you want to go somewhere else, it's cool. But I'm not going to, but again, some people are like, So you're going to have to become a great manager, and I'm not saying you aren't, but once you get all these systems in place, that's going to be the tough part.
Okay.
It will be tough.
I getcha.
I remember there's a Bible story from Genesis, from the controversial book known as the Bible. God says something like this: Adam, if you eat from the tree of knowledge, I'm kicking you out. And so Adam, I kind of picture Adam as sort of like kind of a really like a hipster kind of at this point in his life. He's nude, he's like a Venice Beacher, because this is pre-original sin, whatever.
Yeah,
Adam's
yeah,
like, okay,
Right.
God, bro, yeah, cool, bro, because he's that guy who prays to God that way. When I pray, I always say, "Dear Jesus," but there's people now, more casual prayer people. They're like, "God, bro," so he's going, "God, bro." Adam, did you eat from the tree of knowledge? Kind of, bro. I mean, it's just sort of. Adam, you did. Oh, what, bro? I mean, there's a little bit of that, and that's going to be the tough part when God has to say, Adam, you did eat from the tree of life. Therefore, you have to work every day of your life. Your wife will have labor pains. When she gives birth, it's your fault, and you have to die sometime. I mean, it might have seemed kind of harsh. Like, God, bro, you mean I have to die? I mean, I don't know. Remember that Noah story where God's like, hey, Noah, build this boat. And everyone's around him and is going, why are you building the boat? What are you doing? Are you an idiot? Noah, why are you building the boat? And Noah's like, guys, I gotta build the boat. Because apparently God wants me to build the boat. And there's got to be a certain point where people are going, why are you building the boat? There's no rain coming, buddy. And at a certain point, build the boat. And you have to make that decision. And then when everybody's floating around you looking for a flotation device while you're enjoying the friendly confines of your Noah Ark, and there's part of you that I'm sure Noah's going, I hate watching everybody drowned. But I was told to build the boat. I did build the boat. These people were told not to worship false gods. They did. And it's just a black and white to it.
Yep.
We live in this world where it's like, I want to hold people accountable, but I don't want to hurt their feelings. And that's the great divide. And I will tell you, because I'm not a sexist person, I am a pattern-seeking person. It's been harder for my female clients than any other challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For some reason, my female clients are like unbelievable bedside manner with their clients, unbelievable at getting reviews. They're like really good at sales, very good at selling products, very good at building relationships. The guys, it seems like the men doctors I've worked with, we have to work more on bedside manner, getting reviews, being nice to patients. And the guys tend to say it's easier to hold people accountable, and the women seem to tell me it's harder. And that doesn't have to be your truth. That's just what I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my manager is more that way as well.
Yeah, and we'll work through it. We're going to have a lot of success. We'll have some more conversations. Now, Andrew, question number 2. I will provide the echoes. You provide the voice.
I'm ready. Okay, here we go. Should I focus on just one location and continue developing this one, or look to other locations in the future once systems are fully developed? We are paying rent on a facility we are not using. Should we fully vacate and end the lease, or continue thinking that it will be a place to put another location in the future? If we will be vacating, then I will have the sign taken down.
I think when you talk about vacating, I think you probably know what to do. It's just it hurts the pride to take down the sign.
Sure.
I mean, that's terrible. I remember when I ran a party rental company years ago. I was able to build it and to make it successful. But I thought, how hard could it be? Buy a party rental company, grow it. This is, 15 years ago, whatever, maybe 12 years ago. And bought it. Turns out you have to have a commercial driver's license to drive the rental truck from A to B. And the one or two drivers we had.
Small details.
This guy comes up to me, one of the drivers, and he says, and again, we're in Oklahoma, and this is just not how everyone talks, but just this guy talked. Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Clark, I ain't going to drive for you. I'm twice your age. Ooh. And I'm like, yeah, I'm 26, 27, whatever age I was. But how does that play into, I just want to know, why won't you work with me if I'm half your age? Well, I'll tell you what, it's humiliating. I ain't going to work for a guy like you. And I'm like, how does my age relate to you? I'm like, so you're willing to work without pay? Well, by God, I will, that kind of thing. And I'm going, okay. So I, told my wife, and I said, we're going to have to pay this guy. And I'm going to have to like somehow like almost beg him to work until I can fire him.
Yep.
You know, I thought, how hard could it be, you know? And then we had another one of the drivers was a prolific chain smoker. So he would show up at your wedding facility to deliver your linens and would just be smoking everywhere. So all your linens would smell like smoke. No, I mean, seriously, this was real stuff.
Yeah.
And I could have just said, you know what? I'm going to sell it to a competitor and get out of the deal, get my money back real fast. But I just refused to do it. So I worked like a slave making a pyramid. I'm just working that thing. No reward. I mean, no one remembers the people who made the pyramid. You know, I'm just working. And I eventually ended up turning a profit when I sold it, but it was brutal. So I think what you have to do is decide right now, you know, is it pragmatic to go ahead and shut it down? Is that, I mean, do you think that is pragmatic at this point, Kim, or do you think it's better to kind of Davy Crockett this thing and, you know, remember the Alamo? Because remember, the Alamo didn't turn out that well, but I mean, do you think this is a thing we should keep fighting, or what do you think?
Yeah, I have one more year on the lease, but I'm just wondering if I can just call the guy and talk to him and maybe get out of that and just leave it alone, get everything out of there.
I like the idea of calling the guy and saying, here's the deal. I am maybe bit off a little more than I could chew, and I don't want to put you in a bad spot. What can we work out here?
Yeah.
You know? And even if he lets you pay half rent or a third, you know, and then he can double rent it. He can essentially keep drawing payments from you and rent it to somebody else or rent it to somebody else at a discount. Maybe you just pay half, you know, and then the new tenant only pays half or something, you know? And that's what I would do. Does that provide clarity for you?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Yeah, and then the final question we have here, Andrew. Read the final question. Andrew, stop playing games over there, Andrew. Read the question.
All right, I will read the question. It says, I would like to be a millionaire. My goal is to be a millionaire in 3 years.
Yeah.
Can I make a profit of $1 million annually in this business? Or is my time frame realistic?
And again, you're a medical clinic. Am I correct?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you a dirty move. It's a good move. It just feels a little dirty. And Jay, you walk me through the ethics of this because you're a doctor as well.
I'll do it.
So I'm giving you the moves, and Andrew, take notes. These are the 3 steps.
Oh, okay.
This works. If you do it, it works. But it just, part of you is going to go, I don't know. So here's the deal. Have you discovered have you been following the COVID testing guidelines? Have you been following these COVID testing guidelines?
Yeah.
And I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm just going to play an audio clip here. This is from a doctor who's got more degrees than a thermometer. I mean, this guy is he's rocking the free world. This guy here, it's Dr. Andrew Kaufman. Have you been following his research there? Have you been following this, Kim?
Not a whole lot, no.
Okay, this is Dr. Andrew Kaufman. I'm going to cue this up. Give me just 1 second here.
We were being told.
Okay, and I'm going to go to the video is called An Inconvenient COVID Truth. This is on the High Wire show with Del Bigtree. I'm going to the 21-minute marker. I am not a doctor. I am not claiming to be a doctor. I'm just playing for you an audio clip of a doctor who is an MIT, Duke, and Medical University of South Carolina graduate, Dr. Andrew Kaufman, MD. Listen to this. Here we go.
Seem confused on trying to explain what's happening. Why are we testing people that are, already had it and had no idea they had it? Or, as we have discussed, why, with Dr. Friston's work, who we featured, he's finding, as he mapped the world as though he's mapped the brain, one of the top brain scientists, that there appears to be 50 to 80% of the population, based on the way his models work, that can't get this illness or don't seem to be being infected by it. It does lead to somebody's not understanding something, and then we get to testing, right? So if we're testing for this, and it's natural inside of some people, or maybe all of us, or maybe just during certain times, it would lead to, we saw a declaration by a congressman last week on our show saying even when we do these antibody tests, scientists don't really even know what a positive test means.
Even tests meeting FDA's standards can be false more than half of the time, especially if the prevalence of COVID-19 in the surrounding population is low. And even with a true positive, Scientists are not sure even what that means.
So are you suggesting that there's a potential that this is just RNA that our bodies create naturally, and we are locking everybody down, putting masks on them for something that just simply may exist inside of them by nature?
Yes, yeah, that's essentially exactly what I'm suggesting. And when our bodies are exposed to some kind of insult, right? Even if you just get a little laceration, there's a response. Our bodies make certain antibodies, proteins, our cells mobilize to respond to make sure that nothing dangerous has invaded the integrity of our bodies. And I think that we could simply be measuring some response like that. That's very nonspecific. And there's really no way to tell what this test is measuring, because if you look at the RNA test, we don't know the source of the RNA, and there's no gold standard to compare it to, so there's no known error rate, and you can't calculate one. The antibody test is even less specific, and even the FDA in their guidance about the antibody tests said that they should not be used for diagnosis.
And again, I'm not going to belabor the point, but I just want to make sure there's a capstone thought here. I'm giving you an action plan here to run your medical facility that will work. What you want to do is, soccer moms are crazy about being tested for anything.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't understand that. Jay, you're a chiropractor. You've seen this.
Yeah.
I know women that will do blood work. We're not talking about COVID. I'm just saying they want to know, am I deficient in zinc? Am I deficient in, what other things can you be deficient in? Vitamin
C, vitamin D.
Vitamin D. And so what you want to do is you want to do blood work to test and find the actual deficiency. And Andrew put this on the notes. This works every time. So what you do is you go out there and you say, we're offering either discounted or free or whatever. You want to do testing to see what you're deficient in. And would you agree there, Kim, that if you are deficient in something for a long enough period of time and it's severe enough that it could cause long-term problems?
Oh, absolutely.
Give me one thing I could be deficient in that could cause a huge problem later if it's not dealt with. What is the one thing?
We see vitamin D deficiency very often, and so that
Quit
can
picking
affect
on
your
me.
immune function, your brain, your
Yeah.
bones, a lot of things.
She's picking on me. Okay, the point is, though, so step one, you test everybody, okay? Step two, make a chart. Andrew can help you. You make a chart that shows if you're deficient on this, this could happen. And it's a chart. You put it everywhere. Did you know being deficient in this might cause this? And it's not a manipulative lying. It's true. Make it really easy, color code it, so vitamin C might be orange or something, And then step three, after you come back, you sit down with every patient. You say, based upon the results we have here, Carl, I've sat down, Carl, Mr. Smith, I sat down here, Carl, and it looks like you're deficient in vitamin C. And what's another one, Jay, that people are commonly deficient in? Vitamin
D is the big,
D?
for me.
What about, is there any other minerals people are deficient in, Jay, that are big?
Iron. I've been testing a lot of zinc.
Yeah,
because,
zinc.
zinc.
Yeah. And you say, okay, so what we need to do is we need to get you on an auto-shipped supplement regimen. I'm going to ship to you every month, and I just need you to be a good soldier and take it. Now, so you do that, okay? So you got step one, you do the testing. Step two, you make the chart. Step three, you say, I'm going to auto-ship it, and I want to see you every quarter, because we need to make sure we're proactive about our health. Yeah. So if you get, something that's treatable, we want to treat it. But we don't want to find out it's already so far gone. We're a proactive clinic, okay? And where a lot of doctors feel like this is a dirty move and they shouldn't do it, is that they feel like they're upselling. But I want you to flip it as you're upserving. Because I have worked with doctors to help them make millions of dollars. And they will tell me they've actually caught things in advance that could have killed people by doing this. It works. Okay?
Yeah.
And then what you do now is now you're always booked out. People are always coming in. They never leave. People should never leave your office without pre-booking their next appointment. And now they're auto-shipping the supplements. Are you familiar with a company called Zymogen?
No.
Okay, here you go. Pro tip. Zymogen. Use it. It's Xymogen. Zymogen. Xymogen. You have to get qualified to do it. You got to fill out paperwork. They got to make sure you're not a member of the Nazi party or you're not a terrorist or something. There's certain standards you got to do. But then what you do is now you can white label that stuff, and we can do it with your name, your logo, your brand. And now you're in the cupboards. And their friends will say, Karen, where are you getting your supplements? Because women love talking about these things. I don't understand. I've never got together with a dude and said, dude, where do you get your zinc?
Really? You haven't?
No. I mean, I don't even know.
Wow.
I don't even know some of my good friends. I don't even know the names of their kids or if they have kids. And we're good buddies. So we don't talk about these things. I don't even know what we talk about. We just talk about sales and batting averages and home runs and free throw percentages.
Calcium. Come on. You're talking about
Yeah,
calcium.
no. But seriously, and all of a sudden you become the place in town that all the cool kids are going to. You're proactive about your health. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then you just auto recurring billing. $80 a month. Usually the margins on those supplements are about 50 to 80%.
They're high.
And then now you're just every month. So imagine you have 1,000 patients and they're all paying you $35 a month. Now you're there, my friend. It will happen.
Okay, awesome.
We can help you
All
with it. There's
right.
more detail, but I appreciate you being here and being on today's show. And we're going to go interview the mayor of our town, Broken Arrow, here in just a minute. He's a great American and a beautiful man. And now, without any further ado, we like to end each and every show with a 3, 2, 1, and boom. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Dad, can I come in?
Sure. Come on in. How's it going?
Well, what are you working on?
I'm handwriting the checks to the employees. I like to do this myself. It's something I take pride in.
Aren't there companies like Paychecks that'll do that for you?
Yes, but I like to write the checks myself. I like to...
Shh, Dad.
What?
Silence your mind and listen to the voice of a weird man. And that weird man is you.
Billy, someday when you get to be my age, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
No, I will not.
Billy, when you get to be my age, payroll processing will be the highlight of your life.
You're sick.
Oh, direct deposits, and state taxes and federal taxes and Medicare. All the deductions are so exciting, Billy. I might do it wrong. I might miss some critical deductions, and I need that kind of adrenaline rush in my life. Billy, I just need a purpose.
Dad, I know you love doing paycheck payroll processing, but I know a dude who works up at QuickBooks that Clay uses who will just do it all for you.
Give me his number now. Give me the digits, Billy.
Dad, calm down. I thought you liked doing the paychecks.
No. Don't put words in my mouth, Billy.
You said it.
I just want the number. Just give me the phone number and I'll call the phone number.
You're so desperate.
I don't really want to call the number, but just give me the phone number.
You're begging.
Pretty close to now.
Dad, bruh, I will get you the number sometime this week. Calm down.
Billy.
What?
You listen here. If you don't give me the phone number right now, you're grounded forever.
I'm 27, Dad, bruh.
That's true.
You can't cut off my allowance and ground me in the same week.
I can't.
Calm down.
Give me the number.
Dad.
Come on. Billy.
You said you didn't want it.
Billy, give me the number.
You said you didn't want it.
Give me the number.
Just admit it. Just say you want it.
No.
You do not want to do the payroll. Just admit it.
No, I will never.
Admit it.
Okay, fine. I don't want to do the payroll, though. Give me the number.
It's in my phone.
Give it to me now.
I'm looking.
I want my time freedom back. I want someone else to process the payroll for me. Please, give me the number.
I will give you the phone number, but you will restore my allowance. And henceforth, you will refer to me as the Golden Baby.
Fine. Golden Baby, what's the number for paychecks? So
Go on.
I can pay someone to handle the paycheck processing and
I'm finding it now.
deposit payments and payroll taxes and quarterly taxes.
Okay.
Annual taxes and W-2s. What's the number? Who should I call?
Well, the number you're going to call is call Jason Rush.
Jason Rush.
With paychecks, and his phone number is 918 809 2539.
2539.
918 809
809
2539.
39.
Yes.
Billy, that number's an Oklahoma area code. I'm not located in Oklahoma. What's the number for me?
Calm down. He works in every state. Just give him a call or send him a text. His number's 918 809 2539. Again, it's 918 809 2539.
Billy, I appreciate you for
Okay.
giving me the number. I want you to know I've been a poor father, and I've spent probably 8 hours a week for the last 52 weeks per year.
That's just math.
400 hours a week plus, neglecting you to do these paychecks. And now
That's true, but don't feel bad about it.
I want to tell you I'm sorry. I've wasted my time processing payroll when I could have been hanging out with you. But
No problem, Dad. Just, hire paychecks.
perhaps you can forgive me, Billy.
I forgive you, Dad, but, it's like, maybe you should just call paychecks and delegate, so someone else can spend time processing paychecks while you and I could do parachuting out of a plane
No, Billy.
together, father and son, taking over the world.
Billy, we're not ever going to skydive together, but I'll hire a paychecks and get my time back. I appreciate the referral.
Oh, Billy.